Golden Gate course, lesson 14. As we have only 2 lessons to complete the course, the time will be best spent in gathering together what has been learnt so far and setting it firmly into your life for future use. For instance, how are you getting on with the overcoming of obstacle number 1? By now you should either have demolished it altogether or else become so versed in the method of its destruction that you will carry on almost automatically until it is quite gone. So at this point, put your next on your list, obstacle number 2, in its place. If you have demolished number 1, cross it through. If not, put a tick against it to show that you have the matter well in hand. Your notebook you should keep for future reference, long after you have completed this course. Go back to it occasionally, making sure that the obstacles stay demolished. Continue week by week, dealing calmly with each obstacle in turn until they are all gone. You may accomplish this by the time you come to the end of these lessons. On the other hand, it may take you much longer, but whichever it is, go right on, doing the very thing that you find it hard to do. If, for instance, you have the weakness of not persisting in a task you undertake, say to yourself, I will complete today this uncompleted task. Say it and do it. If you feel that somebody is putting on you because you are too timid to stand up for what you feel is right and just, say within yourself, I will hold on to what I consider a just action today. Then hold to that. Remember what I've said in earlier lessons about truth. Be true to yourself as well as to others. Tell yourself that you will do a certain thing, then do not betray yourself, but carry out what you have promised. This demolishing of obstacles may seem rather dull at first sight, and may even appear to have little or nothing to do with success, but actually it has a great deal to do with it. It's clearing the pathway to your desires. In the beginning of these lessons, I described to you the golden gate that stood between you and your good fortune. I explained then that the gate was made of mind stuff only, and that you would pass through it to good fortune easily when your mind and the golden gate were one. Clearing away obstacles is for this very purpose. It will enable you to pass through the gate to success when the obstacles that have been holding you back have gone. Have you ever heard of the peculiarity of people who sleepwalk? They will climb to dizzy heights, clinging to frail supports, balance imperfectly. But if they are awakened, they will fall. When awake, they become aware of the obstacles of fear, weakness, or uncertainty in their conscious minds. When you demolish these obstacles entirely, you can achieve all that the sleepwalker achieves, but much more when you are fully awake, because there are no obstacles of which to become aware. Then you are invincible. You believe in yourself, and with good reason, for you know that there is nothing to keep you from your success. Are you beginning to understand the deep truth behind these scriptural words? If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. You don't have to try to believe in something that does not exist. You believe because you have good, solid ground for believing. You can say with truth, I have conquered myself, and therefore there are no longer any obstacles to my success. Formerly you only thought the obstacles into being. You thought you could not be friendly, thought you could not complete a task, thought you were timid. But as soon as you told yourself that you were none of these things and intended to be just the opposite, you found that it was so. You discovered that obstacles was in your mind and no reality at all. As soon as you believed in your own God-given power, believed in yourself, in fact, you could do anything you willed to do. All things are possible to him that believeth, so keep right on with demolishing those obstacles. Remember, they are only in your mind. All your life so far, you have been deluded into thinking they were real. Not so. They are only in your thought. Change your thought and you will find that obstacles have disappeared. That is why we should never dwell miserably on faults and allow them to discourage us. They are only errors of thought, and actions follow. Change the thought and you can turn yourself into what you think. As man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Keep at it, happily overcoming these obstacles by the changing of your thought. Think always a strong, optimistic personality for yourself, and think of yourself always as prosperous. Remember that you have the right to be prosperous because you are a child of God who is the source of all prosperity. Say to yourself, I draw to myself the prosperity that is mine because I see myself, loved child of the divine. What about your victory box? It should have a few coins in it by now. Go on putting them in regularly. Perhaps you will make this a lifelong habit. Now is the time for your first dip into that little fund. First, take out 1/4 of it and give it away. Don't just give it to the first child you see or anything like that, however small it is. Think what you will do with it. You might like to send a greeting card to somebody who is lonely, get a magazine for somebody who is ill, give a present to a lonely child. Enjoy doing it, then spend the rest on a little treat for yourself. You have cause for celebration because of your victories. Do this each time you dip into your victory box fund. It will bring you more than a few coins in profit, as you will discover. In these lessons, I know you have enjoyed reading of my own thought-building adventures and other people's too, so I am ending this lesson by telling you more of students' achievements as regards the size of a thought brick. This must take top place. It concerns the sum of 250,000 that a man needed to put his affairs in order. What a figure! Here is his story in fragments that I have linked together. It is August Bank Holiday, Saturday, 1964. 1 year ago today I was broken, desperate man with a business worries so great that there seemed no way out, to the tune of something like £250,000. In August 1963, I wrote to you and enrolled. Everything has been transformed in a miraculous way. Land, property, finance, personal life. I lived, slept, walked, thought and practiced your teachings. 1 lesson of yours did more for me than the 9 years of my previous studies put together. You saved and transformed my life. Isn't that thrilling? It shows how practical and far-reaching faith is. Here is another instance. Wonder if you remember nearly 2 years ago, I told you that I was thinking of taking up oil painting. Had passed my driving test and learnt to swim. Well, I've just had 2 pictures classed good enough for the exhibition. What a blessing I have received from your teachings. Now looking forward to retirement. It demonstrates how youth-giving truth faith can be, doesn't it? For note the near retirement age of the student. The next report concerns a changed address. At the end of this wonderful course, we have changed our address. My husband found a good job with great future prospects. Nice, unfurnished houses are difficult to find, but this lovely cottage with a charming garden and fruiting grapevines along the front of the house was just waiting for us. Things have turned out well, and people have been so kind. Then there is this splendid out of the blue happening. My daughter's tied house was up on the 15th. Through thought building, out of the blue, she was given a house in the country. It was 4 bedrooms and a garden. My own flat I am moving in about a month's time. Sometimes I can't imagine that this is me, after years of frustration, to have come out into the light. I began these quotations with the success that I said should take top place for size. I'll end them with one that I think should be given top place for achievement in advanced years, even though I have quoted it elsewhere. As you see, here I am at home. I'd promised to be home for my 80th birthday. We had a lovely party. My daughter, realising naturally that no one could possibly blow out 80 candles, had one enormous candle. It was lit, the lights put out, and my 3 tiny great-grandchildren blew it out and sang happy birthday. Wasn't that pleasant? My great standby has been the 4 walls chart, and how wonderfully all turned out. I am working now in television with great success and have contracts for months ahead and offers of more and more whenever I want it. I'll tell you a little about the above circumstances. The writer is an actress who lived and worked in England for years. Sometimes she appeared at various theatres, but I saw her in plays and features on the television a number of times. She had, I believe, all the courses in turn, and naturally Bernard's Weekly News as a regular. Every now and again she told me, I have promised to return home to Australia for my 80th birthday, and I am thought building
for it. And that is exactly what she achieved. She sold her London flat, packed her belongings and travelled alone. But even then, as you see, she had no thought of retiring. She's enjoying life so much. At the time of writing this, she still has Bernard's Weekly News. Remember, change your thoughts and change your circumstances. You have 2 more weeks to practice prosperity thinking. By then, it should be a habit.